All right, let's jump right in. We're not talking about some dusty, abstract philosophy today. No, we're talking about a choice. A really tough choice. One that forces you to look in the mirror and figure out what you really believe, whether you know it or not.
So, picture this. A young man, his country's occupied. He's got this incredible chance to join the resistance, to fight for a cause that's so much bigger than himself. But there's a catch. His mother relies on him for everything. If he leaves, she might not survive. So what does he do? What's the right thing to do? Yeah, there's no easy answer here, is there? And that right there is the whole point.
And you can see the dilemma, right? It's just brutal. Path 1. Join the resistance. You're fighting for this huge, universal ideal. Freedom for all. But, let's be honest, it's a gamble. Its success is totally uncertain. Then there's Path 2. Stay with his mother. That's a sure thing, a concrete, immediate duty, where he knows he's helping one person, directly. This isn't just some thought experiment. This is our doorway into understanding existentialism.
Okay, so how on earth does philosophy even begin to tackle a problem like this? Well, the existentialist answer is all wrapped up in one of the most game-changing ideas in modern thought. Existence precedes essence.
You know, for most of human history, people believed the exact opposite. They thought we were like a knife. A knife is created with a purpose. Its essence is to cut. That comes first. Existentialism completely flips that on its head. It says, nope, you're born as a blank slate. You just show up, you exist. And only then, through your choices, your actions, your struggles, do you define who you are. You create your own purpose.
And I love this metaphor. It hits the nail on the head. You are not a finished product. You are the artist, and you are the canvas. Every single choice you make, big or small, is another brushstroke. You are literally creating the person you are becoming moment by moment. There is no pre-written instruction manual for your life.
Now, don't think for a second that this is some cozy armchair philosophy. It's not. Not at all. Existentialism wasn't dreamed up in some quiet university library. It was born from pure chaos, from personal and global disasters. It's a philosophy for when the world completely stops making sense.
And you can really see how it developed through these moments of turmoil. It starts bubbling up in the 1840s with Kierkegaard talking about the sheer dizziness of freedom. Then in the 1880s, you've got Nietzsche declaring God is dead, which basically put the burden on us to create our own values. Then, wham, World War I just obliterates the comfy idea that humanity is always progressing. And finally, you have Jean-Paul Sartre writing his masterpiece while living under Nazi occupation in France in 1943. I mean, can you imagine? This is a philosophy with some serious grit.
So, if we accept this idea, if we really believe we're fundamentally free, what does that actually mean for how we live our lives? What's the user manual look like? Well, here's the twist. It's a pretty heavy burden to carry.
This quote from Sartre just sums it all up. But it sounds like a paradox, doesn't it? Condemned to be free. How can freedom possibly be a punishment? Well, because you didn't ask for it. You were just thrown into the world. And immediately, you are forced to make choices that define not only your life, but who you are, with nobody to tell you if you're getting it right.
Let's break this down. First, the trap. You can't not choose. You literally can't escape it. Deciding to do nothing is still a choice. It's a choice to be passive. Second, no excuses. Existentialism says forget about blaming your past or your circumstances. You are what you do. You're a coward only if you choose cowardly actions. And third, and this is the big one, total responsibility. When you make a choice, you aren't just choosing for yourself. You're acting as if you're setting a new law for all of humanity. That is a crushing weight. And this right here is a super important distinction. A lot of people hear no inherent meaning and they immediately think of nihilism, but they're worlds apart. Nihilism looks at a meaningless universe and basically says, well, that's that, game over. Existentialism looks at the exact same universe and says, excellent, a blank canvas. Now let's get to work. It's a call to action, not a surrender to despair.
The idea of being the captain of your own soul sounds incredibly powerful, but how does it hold up in the real, messy world? Let's do a reality check and look at both the good and the bad of this philosophy.
Okay, on the plus side, it's the ultimate antidote to having a victim mentality. It forces you to take ownership, which can build incredible resilience. And it's a call to live an authentic life, not just play a role someone else wrote for you. But the flaws are pretty significant. Critics point to the privilege problem. It's a lot easier to talk about radical freedom from a nice cafe than it is for someone facing systemic oppression. It can also create a kind of moral vacuum. If we all invent our own values, whose are better? And for many, that feeling of total responsibility doesn't feel empowering. It just leads to a paralyzing anxiety.
But if you want to see the pure power of this philosophy in action, look no further than Viktor Frankl. He was a psychiatrist who survived the Holocaust, and he argued that even in the unimaginable horror of a concentration camp, when everything had been stripped away, the one thing that could never be taken from a person was the freedom to choose their attitude. I mean, wow. That's the existentialist merit in its most potent form, finding meaning and agency when you have literally nothing else.
So, after all of that, the history, the theory, the pros and cons, where does that leave us? Well, funnily enough, it brings us right back to where we started.
We're back with our young man and his impossible choice. We've talked about the weight of freedom, the burden of responsibility, and this idea that we create ourselves. So now, what is the existentialist answer to his dilemma?
And the answer is, there isn't one. There's no preordained, universally correct answer. No ethical rulebook or holy text can give him the right path. For the existentialist, the right path is created by the very act of choosing it and then committing to it authentically. The value isn't in the outcome, it's in the courage of the choice itself.
And that brings it all back to you. See, this whole thing was never really about a young man in an occupied country. It's been about you. Every day you are a painting that paints itself. Every action is a brushstroke. You are condemned to be free. The only question left is, what will you choose to create?